around the league since noon Eastern today. Mike Giardi, what are you hearing about the interest level?
Tampa Bay is all in. Tampa Bay has told him they want him to be their next quarterback. The Los Angeles Chargers also in on Tom Brady as they look to find a successor to Phillip Rivers. But as for what's happening here in Foxborough, not a lot. Not a lot of conversations, and that really kind of continues the trend that's been going back since the end of the regular season and the end of the postseason. They've had months to work this thing out and haven't come to any sort of agreement. Mind you, the CBA may have complicated things, but now that's passed. You know what's happening. I'd also like to remind people that Robert Kraft said Tom Brady earned this right to test free agency. And while they would have loved to have worked out a long-term deal with him, they were unable to do that last August. And Brady was the one who said, I don't want transitional tag. I don't want the franchise tag. I want the opportunity to see what's out there. Well, now he's getting it here during the negotiating window, and we'll see if that's enough to sway him to leave New England, his home for the last 20 seasons. Crazy to think, but very much possible. Meanwhile, the Patriots made a move today that caught a lot of people by surprise, especially around the league. Me here, Joe Thuney gets the franchise tag. He's been their best offensive lineman. He was last year a second-team All-Pro at left guard. They're committing nearly $15 million to that position if they don't work out a long-term deal with him and move some of that money around. They've already paid Shaq Mason at right guard about $8.5 million per season. That's a lot of money. Maybe that signals to you, hey, they want Tom Brady back. We're going to keep you clean. We need to have good guards and good interior play. Or maybe that says to you, we don't have a lot of money now, Tom. We spent it on Thuney. We spent it on Devin McCourty. We gave Matthew Slater an extension. You're going to have to take what's out there or, come back to us for something less than you want.
Thank you very much, Mike Giardi in Foxborough, where Tom Brady is the sixth best free agent available at the moment, according to NFL.com, which seems bizarre to me, but so does everything else these days, so why not? I should mention, you see Drew Brees' name on this list. That is a technicality. He has made it clear that he intends to sign with the Saints, and money is not expected to be an issue there. There are a few other high-profile quarterbacks who are expected to change uniforms, including Phillip Rivers, whose time with the Chargers is done, and who is, according to Ian Rappaport, having conversations with the Colts. He is a target for Indy. We will see if they can agree on the money. In the meantime, is this a good football move? Let's talk best choice, presented by Golden Corral, with Maurice and David back with us. Is Indy the best spot for him, Maurice?
I think if we're talking Phillip Rivers, yes, Indy's the best spot. I think, again, when you look at everything they have from the offensive linemen, the running backs, the receivers, the defense, obviously trading for Buckner from the Niners, they're building a championship roster. And I was actually reading on Twitter, and I think it was Mike Lombardi who said that the way to get to Patrick Mahomes is inside pressure, also is scoring points. And so the Colts, they kind of were up and down with scoring points. So, yes, you want to be able to pressure Mahomes and find a way to win the AFC, but you also have to be able to put up points. And we know Phillip Rivers is that kind of guy and what he's able to do. So I'm excited to see how this pans out. I know they're having communications, but it's going to be nice to see Phillip Rivers go to a place and see if he can thrive with a great offensive line.
Do you agree with Maurice, David, or do you see a better landing spot out there for Phillip?
No, I mean, there's a couple other places that he possibly could go. I mean, obviously with him living in Tampa or living in the Florida area, that could be an option. But I think that Indianapolis is a perfect fit for him. I think just based on the fact that he has history with the staff up there, it'd be a very easy transition from an older quarterback's perspective. You don't want to go in and have to relearn an entire new language. There's so many different verbiages and different ways to communicate plays. It would be very easy for him to go there because it's something that he's done before and he's comfortable with. You don't want to have to reinvent the wheel, so that's an easy thing. Then he can command the offense quickly. He'd be able to step in the spring, pick it up, and then go out there and go right to work. And he's got a good football team, great offensive line, good run game, good defense. I think that some of the stuff that we saw with Phillip last year with some of the turnovers and some of the mistakes were just like you heard when he said in the press conferences, I'm just trying to make a play. I'm just trying to win a football game. And he felt probably pressured into making some of those throws that he made. And I don't think that that's necessarily him. I know he's an aggressive gunslinging type quarterback, but I think with Frank Reich's system, he would actually thrive. It'd be a lot of fun to watch.
Another quarterback who is free to talk to teams as of today is Jameis Winston, who the Bucs chose not to franchise tag. It's looking like he will go elsewhere. Any suggestions, Mo?
Lindsay, we've been on this show multiple times. You know what I'm going to say. You can just tell the people and I'll talk about it, please.
He likes the Patriots.
I love the Patriots. I think Bill Belichick will come in and really mold Jameis Winston. You talk about a lot of these other guys, maybe drafting a guy out of these spread college systems. Remember, Jameis Winston came from a pro-style college system, played in multiple systems, one with Dirk Cutter, obviously, the other with Bruce Arians. He has the experience. He just needs a little bit more I'm not like just someone that rides him a little bit more. And in the right way, understanding that get the ball out quick. You don't always have to make the big throw. Don't worry, if things don't break down, here's your check down. These are the things you can do, and coach them up. And I think, again, you give him a 1 or 2 year prove-it deal. You let him earn it like we've seen, and then when he does that, you get a chance to have a big-time quarterback, and the Patriots are back to be in the evil empire again.
David, does this sound like a move that Bill Belichick would make to you?
I don't know. I mean, I'm cautiously optimistic for Jameis. I want to see him do well, as I want to see all quarterbacks do well. But Jameis has done the same thing since college. He turns the football over. Now, if you're a coach and you're sitting there and you're trying to think about paying big money to a guy, whether he be a starter or come in and compete for something, you look at it and you say, well, Bruce Arians wasn't able to get anything done with him. He wasn't able to get him to kind of turn that back and stop turning the football over. He still gave it away a lot. So can I do that? I mean, you have to really think about that if you're a front office. So I don't know if that's necessarily – I think he's the last quarterback of the big free agent quarterbacks to land in a spot. I think it's going to be where he wants to be.
Uncertain time for Jameis, but he doesn't appear too bothered. He posted on Instagram earlier today. It's a picture of him smiling with the caption, "Smile." So he's staying positive as his options unfold. While the only team that he has known in the NFL makes moves that don't involve him, Tampa re-signing Jason Pierre-Paul today to a 2-year, $27 million deal that will keep him off the market once it opens on Wednesday. Also not hitting the market on Wednesday is Dak Prescott, who will remain in Dallas next year under very different circumstances. Circumstances that Jane Slater, Troy Aikman said last week he'd hoped that the Cowboys would be able to avoid. They hit their quarterback with the franchise tag. What's the story there?
Now, at least they gave him the exclusive franchise tag, which is a little bit higher than the other one. But this essentially means now that other teams can't pick up the phone and try to make a deal. And if they had gone with the other tag, Lindsay, then if another team had made a deal that the Cowboys didn't want to match, they could have walked away with 2 first-round picks. They didn't do that. The goal is still to get this done in terms of a long-term deal, but both sides continued to negotiate since last week. And I was told even as of Sunday night, things were quiet. So they weren't able to come to an agreement. So they have until July 15th now to try and still get a long-term deal done. Now, if that doesn't take place, then he's going to have to sign a 1-year contract, and they can't be extended until after the last regular season game. So that's where they sit right now. Dak Prescott has expressed a willingness to want to stay in Dallas. The Cowboys have expressed a willingness to have him be their quarterback. So let's see if they can get this done. If they don't get that done, he signs the 1-year deal, Lindsay. Well, then they could franchise tag him again next year. So we'll see how this shakes out. Of course, the other interesting part of this was even with them franchising Dak, they didn't manage to get a long-term deal done with Amari Cooper either. So we wait till Wednesday to see if the Cowboys can get that done while his phone is ringing from other suitors.
And the Cowboys did sign someone today, tight end Blake Jarwin, locked up for 3 years and $24+ million. Thank you very much, Jane. We'll be in touch. After the break on NFL Total Access, why for all their speed, their power, and their open field moves, running backs could not avoid getting tagged, traded, or released. All the details on that are coming up next. Plus, it's what happens when the unthinkable becomes unavoidable. That Tom Brady, the Tom Brady, is our